Hi guys, welcome to another Bumpdate. It's our third trimester Bumpdate.
Trimester 3.
Which is insane. The lighting's going to be a bit dodgy because we're currently filming during the evening and I will explain why in just a second. So if you are new to our channel, welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you haven't watched our previous Bumpdate, then there is a playlist down below in the description, and I will also leave a link to our most recent one somewhere above our heads in the information card above. So the reason why we are not filming exactly 28 weeks, I'm 27 weeks and 6 days today, is because I have my glucose tolerance test tomorrow. So if you do not know what that is to test for gestational diabetes.
That fun sugary time.
Yeah, so I'm having the test done first thing in the morning, well at 9:30 in the morning, but I'm going to be leaving about 8:45, so it's going to be a long one and we won't have time to film the rest of the weekend because we have other bits and bobs going on.
Okay.
So I will tell you the result of that in the next bump date because I won't find out straight away if I have gestational diabetes or not. Also, next week, my growth scans are starting. In my last bump date, I've explained that I have low PAPA, so baby might be born a little bit underweight. So these scans just check how his growth is progressing, if he's in the lower percentiles or the higher percentiles of growth. Obviously, they won't be able to decide straight away. So I'm having 3 scans done. First one at 28 weeks, but I'll be closer to 29 weeks. Then 32 weeks and then 36 weeks. And across the growth of those three scans, they'll also be able to decide if any intervention is needed. So if they want to bring him out a little bit earlier so they can get him breastfeeding sooner or put on a feeding tube or anything like that, just to boost up his growth a bit more. So let's get into the symptoms. Oh boy, have they been kicking in. Sleep has started to diminish quite a lot. I'm waking up probably about 3 or 4 times in the night to pee, so I am losing quite a lot of sleep.
It does take you a while to get to sleep anyways.
Yeah,
and then...
it's taking me a while to get to sleep, and then waking up 3 or 4 times in the night to pee. So I usually don't wake up until about 9 o'clock now because I think my body's like trying to conserve as much energy as it can. And then this morning,
I think, yeah, today was like the first day in a couple of weeks that you actually got up at the same time I did.
Well, that was because a pigeon flew into the window and woke me up at 6:10, and then I couldn't get back to sleep, so I just stayed awake and then had a nap later on in the morning.
There's a pigeon-shaped mark just like right
there
there on the window.
So this isn't a symptom, but we have started our antenatal classes. We had the dates switched around so many times because of the whole situation around COVID. And then
that buzzword.
And then it was decided that it was all going to go online. There's 2 choices that we can have. There is ones that happen every week, and that is via like a big group video chat, or there are pre-recorded ones. We were meant to have one tonight, but we've got a lot of stuff to do and I just wanted to chill out really.
So we're going to be watching the pre-recorded one of tonight's one.
If you're in the UK, they are offered free under the NHS. You just need to look them up or ask your midwife. They are really informative and
super helpful.
Yeah, it helps with birth partners and looking after your baby once they're here. It doesn't just focus on like labour and having the baby.
Yeah, it's not just like the one section. It covers like practicing things you can do beforehand. Yeah. It covers the entirety of labour because it's longer than I thought it would be. And then also you've got like the after stages, like she just said, with things like looking after your baby and making sure that they're okay. And
another big thing it focuses on is postpartum depression as well, which I think is a huge milestone because that is one of those things that isn't as commonly looked over as something that might be wrong with your baby. If you haven't watched our previous videos, then you won't know that about 6 weeks ago, I can't believe it's been that long, about 6 weeks ago almost.
What is time right now?
So about 6 weeks ago, I had to have a stitch put in the top of my cervix because it had opened up to a point and it was shortening to a point of risk of preterm labour being pretty much inevitable. So I had the stitch put in. That was officially confirmed as a success. So I don't have to have any more cervical length scans, which I was having, and they were uncomfortable as heck.
No one likes that. No one needs that.
Another precaution that my consultant did was she did something called a fetal fibronectin test, which it was the swab thing I had done.
I was gonna say that's a long word.
Yeah. It's basically used to calculate the probability of your body going into preterm labour over a certain time frame. So I think it's over a month, and it gives you a probability based on the amount of the fibronectin protein that is in the top of your cervix, because that's what helps your body go into labour. So I had that test done, and my probability of going into preterm labour was extremely low, because if it was high, our son might be here already, and he might be in the intensive care unit, but he is still very much tucked away, and it doesn't want to come out. My back.
You sound so mad about it.
I am mad about it. I think I pretty much jinxed it. I was
You did.
like, oh, I haven't been getting back pain. It's fine.
It's alright. What are you talking about? Yeah, that happened.
So it's mainly in my tailbone and my very, very lower back, but it's starting to creep up into like the curved part of my spine. Because what I found out the other day was that your pelvis, when your body grows during pregnancy, so your pelvis is usually like flat like that, and like your hips are on either side. When you're pregnant, it tilts like this and it pushes your tailbone with it, so your tailbone kind of pokes out, hence why it hurts so much. It's starting to creep up into the middle of my back as well, just because of the weight of my front. I'm getting quite top heavy now.
He is not small anymore.
He's about 2 pounds, roughly.
Yeah.
Ish. I'll find out exact measurements next week. Another funny thing that you actually noticed, but you didn't mention it. I did notice it and didn't want to accept it. So there is something called the mask of pregnancy, and I can't remember the exact name for it. And it's basically where the pigment in your skin changes because of hormones. It usually happens on your face. It's like when your freckles come out, when it's like the weather's really nice outside and you get loads of little brown freckles, but then when it gets to winter, they kind of go away again. But in pregnancy, you can get them in quite big patches. I haven't been getting them on my face, but I've been getting them everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you can see, like, there's a couple of bits here. The lighting's not great.
The lighting isn't great.
I've got, like, a big bit here, and then I've got 2 bits on my collarbone. I've got some on my belly as well.
You're like a giraffe.
Yeah, I'm slowly turning into, like, a giraffe or something. I'm going to take it all in my stride. It is a beautiful thing.
It is all part of, obviously, the whole process. And the whole process is amazing, so why isn't this part of it amazing? And you should feel as confident about it as you do about everything else.
My hormones have been pretty bad.
You could say that.
I've been getting a lot more emotional and a lot more teary.
About things that don't necessarily need to
Yeah.
get... It's just small things. When they get to you, they really get to you.
I was never like this before. Like,
what happened?
yeah. So that's been a journey for both of us. Don't forget, it is a journey for your partner as well. It's not just...
Yeah, it's not just something that you guys are dealing with. It does, like, especially with hormones and stuff, it does affect the people around you.
But it's all a big learning process, because the woman is learning how to cope with these changes in her body, but then the partner also needs to learn how to process these changes.
And quench the fire when necessary.
Yeah. Teddy has gotten so much more active. I mean, the last Bumpdate, we said, oh, he's so active. This is like a new level of active.
Last night, I think we saw him do like a really, really big move. Like, we both saw it at the same time.
I think
it was something he hadn't done for us both at the same time before.
Yeah, you could see, like, it was like a fist-sized bump, so I think it was either his head or his bottom. So imagine that this is my stomach, like the skin over my stomach, you could just see it, like, go like that. But,
you
like,
could see
through
it roll
the skin,
across.
you could see, and it was so weird. They're starting to get to the point where they're, like, winding me, or Like, it makes me feel a bit nauseous.
There are points where you have turned to me and feel like he has just kicked me in the stomach and I do not feel okay about that.
I'm taking it all in because in 3 months or less, he is going to be outside of my stomach and I'm going to miss these moments. So, time for a bump shot. So that was our 24 to 28 week bump date, which is insane. So yeah, that was our technically first, 3rd trimester bump date. So if you have enjoyed, then don't forget to leave a like or a comment and hit the subscribe button as well. And we will see you in the next video. Bye!